That's a great deal. I know he's pretty popular in that town, so that'll be good. He'll start off with some good support behind him.
Coach, right. What do you have coming back? I'm sorry, you had McGowan last year, but you had a young team you were trying to kind of find your way last year. What do you guys have coming back? Because Mac High's usually had some big guys. You had a very young team this year.
Yeah, we were young and small and slow and weak. Offensively, we've got to replace a lot. Quarterback, tailback, fullback, 3 offensive linemen, all our receivers. So that's going to be the biggest focus in the spring. Defensively, front 7, we got quite a few coming back front 7-wise. Our D-line, almost our whole D-line is intact. A couple of linebackers coming back. Secondary took a pretty big hit. So we got to find some guys there. But offensively, we got to find that guy to pull the trigger at the quarterback position. We got to find a new guy to carry the mail in the back, in the tailback position. So this spring is going to be critical, very, very, very important, because we've got some holes, that we got to fill, and so that's what we'll be doing in the spring.
Is this a team? I mean, your district, it's been really, it's been pretty static as far as 2 La Jolla teams made it this year, 2 La Jolla teams made it the year before. Do you see it changing much as far as I guess everybody, because Memorial is going to be having a brand new team. Pretty much.
The dynamic, and then you got new head coaches at Rowe and Mission and La Jolla High. Man, I really don't know what to think, to be honest with you, Jake. With Trevor Spates graduating, hopefully that brings Memorial down a little bit to earth, where we can actually, compete with them. Everybody else is always good. We'll have to wait and see what these new head coaches are going to do scheme-wise and what that brings to the table. I just plan on it being a dogfight. 7 teams fighting it out for 4 spots, and that's the way it's been every year. And I'm sure nothing will change.
How did you guys look at the lower classifications, Coach? What kind of players do you have coming up to fill all those positions?
We were all right. We weren't world beaters. I really like our freshman group coming up. There's some good skill kids in there. And our freshman group last year had some bigger kids and not really any skill kids. And then this group this year had some good skill, some receiver, some running back, some quarterback type kids, and so hopefully now we can kind of mix them together on the JV and get something going. And we had a small freshman class this year. One of our feeders had a down year numbers wise, so hopefully we'll get that back up, get our freshman numbers back up to where we want them, and get it going. But we're going to have to fill some holes from that JV from last year.
Is this going to be a wide open district, you think? I mean, anyone can.
I think so.
That's what you're making it sound like.
I think so. I really do. Yeah. I don't think, like I said with Trevor, Coach Littleton graduated like 4 or 5 D1 kids or whatever. Now they're kind of in the mix, and it's just a big pot of gumbo, and we'll have to see who gets the shrimp, who gets the sausage, and who gets the okra and all that. So,
what about your non-district schedule, Coach? What you guys get scheduled?
We're going to open up with Harlingen South. In week 2, we're going to go PSJ Memorial. Week 3, we're going to go Los Fresnos. Week 4, we're going to go PSJ High. Just like I did 2 years ago, I want to schedule competitive.
Sure.
Nobody, I had a couple out of the Valley schools 2 years ago, and that nobody wanted to play us again. Not that we're that good. I just think the travel, turns a lot of people off. It turns the San Antonios off, turns the Corpuses off, and you just can't get anybody that'll make the trip down here. So that's tough, So you got to look in the Valley. You can't go 29 because that's your by-district opponent. And so I really tried to go heavily Lower Valley, District 32, and I wanted to play the good ones in there. And Los Fresnos were scrimmaging San Benito, so we got Harlingen South, Los Fresnos, San Benito out of 32, and then 2 of the PSJs out of 31. So, try to prepare our kids for a tough district, and then hopefully a playoff run.
How was the Alamo Bowl, Coach?
It was insane. At halftime, and I hate to say this, but I was with my 2 sons. I said, if we weren't 4 hours from home, we'd leave right now.
And it's cold and rainy.
It was cold and rainy. And I said, we'll stick it out. We'll stay, and gosh almighty, it was crazy.
It was.
And, every time we'd score, I'd tell my sons, you never know.
Yep.
You never know. You never know. It's like that Plano East John Tyler playoff game from '94. I was watching the deal.
I just watched on ESPN. Yeah.
I'm sick to my stomach.
And I remember those guys. Scott Phillips was a head coach there in the Metroplex for a long time, and great guy. And I remember Alan Wilson. He coached in Dallas. He coached at Carter for a little while, and I remember those guys. And but anyway, that was
great. You stayed for the whole game.
We stayed for the whole game, and we stayed for the pandemonium and all the the craziness that went on after. So it was a heck of a deal, heck of a game.
Backup quarterback comes in and leads them.
Senior, yeah, and he played against Oklahoma, and they dang near beat Oklahoma with him, but just a gutsy performance.
Right.
In the first half, it didn't look like he was in the right building. It looked long that Chuck E. Cheese's, throwing foosball or something. But in the second half, man, I tell you what, kid did a great job of fighting and competing and hanging in there, and heck of a finish.
All right, Coach. TCU grad, played for the Horned Frogs. That's why we brought up the Alamo Bowl. Yeah. I heard they're making a movie about it now. Disney's going to make a movie about the. Well, he was a third-string quarterback.
Yeah.
Comes in and leads to one of the greatest comebacks in bowl history.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I'll have to go see that.
All right, Coach. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yep.
Anytime, guys.
Kevin Brewer, Mac High,
Coach.
head football coach, and he's all set for his realignment in his district. And playing in you go right through there, Coach. Pretty much wide open in that district is what he's saying, Jake. And if you think about it, he's right.
He is right.
Because the teams that went to the playoffs last year lost a lot of players.
Yeah, and you think about that district. Was top heavy with Trevor and Mac High with Jonathan Sanchez was on that team. He's going to Rice. Trevor is going to.
You got something on your forehead.
Sorry.
There you go. A little lint.
My bangs. But what it's going to be interesting because Memorial is not going to be the same Memorial team that they have been, and so they're going to be in rebuild mode. And they lost Coach Kaufman to PSA North, so then you're going to have that issue there. Who's going to take up the offensive load